Hello, back in my car. I was just thinking about what kind of light language or transmission would I like to do today. I've been thinking about what's been going on in the news, and I've purposely just switch off. I don't really check the cases or want to know where the next tier is. I'm not really interested, so I've just made that a conscious choice. Because to me, I just want to learn to live with it. I don't want to keep running away from it. I don't want this sense of separation. I just want to just move on and just go, well, it is what it is. We all have exit points in our life. And yes, it's sad, we all have to transition, but it's life, and I think the more attention we give to something, the more it sticks around because it's laws of attraction. So I want this transmission, I don't need it to be very long. I think it just needs to be short and sharp, but to the point that we just keep remembering our connection to God, our connection to Source. So many people don't have that. And they're in their head believing their personal mind, which is the ego, thinking that it needs to protect this body, it needs to protect its mortality. But we're no better than all the organisms and all the living things out there, from our dogs and cats and plants and trees and nature. We are also equal. For some reason, as humans, we think we're better. We think we're better than all other living animals. And that's where the sadness lies, because we have created this ego, and it's now running the show. And we have a lot of people that are making these big decisions about what the community should do, but they're also coming from unhealed minds. Their thought processes are in separation, and it's just causing a division. It's kind of sad where humanity is going right now, but this is where one needs to take responsibility for their own sovereignty and step back into humanity and step back into the connection to the self, and realizing that we are all interconnected and there's nothing to fear. Because fear is what's keeping us at this vibration. Fear is what is keeping us in this really artificial reality that we've all participated in. And, whether we agree to be in it or not, we're all in this reality because of our collective consciousness. So I'm trying to now make a conscious effort to bend reality and create my own fifth dimension of reality, which comes from the frequency of love, which comes from discernment, which comes from realizing that we're all interconnected and there's no need to hide, there's no need to run. I would rather just live with it. I would rather just get on with life and practice my own sense of wellness by looking after my mental health, looking after my spiritual, my physical, my emotional well-being. Because if you make effort to do that every day, you will be healthy and, not a suitable host for whatever organism wants to latch itself onto. So that's my way of thinking. I think that everything is energetic and it's vibration and it's a frequency. And I believe that the sickness or the virus, that's not even the issue anymore. It's the state of fear that is going through the community. That's the virus. That's what I feel it is. It's now tapping into our emotional stability and affecting people quite badly. Like it's, because they've realized there is a sense of separation, and realizing they don't want to die or be another mortality, there's this sense of fear and uncertainty. But if we just realize that this is life, we came to play this game, we volunteered to be here at this time, and this is now the time to step in, work on the self, and then you can bring others up with you. Everybody can raise their frequency, very easily if we all make a conscious effort to come into the frequency of love and compassion and discernment and forgiveness for the people that are making these decisions. Whether we agree with it or not, sometimes we just have to go, I hold compassion for you because you're also an unhealed person. You've got an unhealed mind. You're also coming from a childhood pattern of feeling that you've got to make this decision because you're living in a state of fear. But when you don't come from fear, you just get on with life and you just realize there's nothing to run away from. Life is here and life is responding to your vibration. But so many people are doing the other way around. They're feeling that life, it's bad and it's happening to me and I've got to run away from it, but it's nothing to run away from. If you are vibrating from a high frequency, then your world will look very different. So the lens that I'm seeing, I don't choose to look at the news. I don't really worry about where the next hotspot is or how many cases are in my area. I'm still happy to shop there. I've got no issues with it. It's like, keep it open. I'll go. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to trust that this is God's plan for us to awaken, and it's all part of the veil it's lifting. It's all part of the awakening. We're all at different stages. I know that I'm a little bit further along the journey. But, when the people are starting to wake up, I'm happy to hold your hand and take you and show you that this is just one big production. It's one big simulated, constructed reality. And the sooner you wake up to that, the easier it will get, because then you can just let go of having to control and feel like you've lost control of the situation. Because there's really nothing that needs to be done. Just look after yourself. That's the first thing you need to do. Go inward, sort out your backyard, sort out your own emotional, mental, spiritual, physical and emotional needs. Get that sorted, and then the rest of this won't look as bad. It'll be just like, oh, I see the show. I see what's playing out. And that's when you can decide, do you want to be the lion? Do you want to be the shepherd? Or do you want to continue being the sheep? And when you start to wake up to this matrix, you can make a choice. But it all starts with you first admitting that, you've been sleeping for a long time. And it's okay. I was asleep. Many of us were asleep. But it's time to wake up. And when you wake up, people will think you're mad. People will think you're crazy. But trust me, everything's in reverse. This whole world is in reverse. What you think you see is the opposite. So it's just remembering that it's not as bad as it really is. It's actually a really beautiful time to be here, because it means that there is a lot of light and there is a lot happening and a big shift happening, and it's actually scaring the big guys that are making these calls and these decisions to put fear in the community. So the more the people wake up, the better it's going to be. But we're just going through the storm. This is the storm right now, and it feels hard, but it's all about being mentally strong and bending your reality. I play with reality every day. I still do my walks. I still get up and do my self-care. I still go about my day as much as I can in a fifth state of consciousness, a fifth dimension. So fifth dimension is practicing love frequency, practicing discernment, and just switching off the ego mind. Like just, when I hear myself get a bit like upset with, whatever I see or whatever I watch, I just go, no, I don't need to be part of this. It's best for me to be the observer and to just sit back. And there's no need for me to judge, because again, judgment just leads to separation. And what I've learned is that I'm no better than anyone else. We are all interconnected. And, we are on the same equal status as the cat and the dog and the organism and the plant and the tree. Yes, we feel like we're more superior, but we're not. And that's where the ego doesn't like it, because many of us are trying to protect this mortality, protect the body. You're not the body. That is like the biggest wisdom teaching of all. If you remind yourself every day you are not the body, then there's nothing really you need to take to protect it. The only thing you need to look after is up here and here. And how do you do that? Practice meditating. Connect to your inner self. Connect to your higher self. Connect to the God within you. Connect to the universe and realize, oh, I'm just a speck in this whole universe. It's sad, but we really are irrelevant. And I like saying that. I'm always reminding myself I'm irrelevant. And not in a bad way, not to be like putting down myself, but just reminding myself that this is a massive place we live in. So my job is just to look after my own real estate. It's my responsibility to look after my own sovereignty. I'm not going to allow someone else to do it for me. They don't know my values, what is right for me. So I need to take accountability for my own sovereignty. And the way you do that is, again, practice supreme self-care. Practice parenting the self, honoring the self. And when you do that, then you'll be able to show compassion for others. Because whatever you do inward will fall outward. That is the key. I wish more people would wake up to that. You need to connect to the God within you. I only just learnt that through A Course in Miracles, but before that, I always thought of separation, that I had to protect the body. Don't want to die. But now I'm okay with it. It's just like, oh well, we all have exit points. That's life. But I know I'm an internal being. I know that my energy and my essence is eternal. It's limitless. It's boundless. That's it. Come back again as something else. Or maybe I won't. It doesn't really matter. It's just a moment in time. That's all it is. So I think this transmission needs to be short and sharp, and it needs to remind us to look after our sovereignty, honor the authentic truth and our authentic self, and have faith that this will get better. It will pass. I have no doubt in my mind. It's just a moment in time. It feels so long, but I know that this shake-up is part of the awakening, and it's just me reminding myself, just watch it. Have your bowl of popcorn and watch this show. The show is just getting interesting, and there's nothing that I need to do right now. Just keep looking after myself. There's no need to worry or stress about it, because it's wasted energy. And I can see my cat behind me. Anyway, I'm going to do a light transmission. I don't need it to be a very long one, but we'll see what comes through. But that's what I want to focus on. Practicing light codes that connects to the purest form of light source, Christ consciousness, tapping into the 8th dimension, and just practicing that sense of love, discernment, and just being at ease and flow and not feeling fear, but just feeling love in its purest form. I am a presence that can end together, go to the intimate inner show me. Ko dama sho tama amare hero ko ahasho na maasho to makatoro o ma ama karakita kora kataro o ma asho totoro ma a o sho totoro ma ama ka ama hei kora ka ma amane kitoro hashama ama katara kotoro o sho to ma asho te kara ko o ma katero o sama ama ka hama katora ka amarha asho totoro ma ha sho toro o ma ha sho koto ma hama kitoro o ma hama Amakarakera koro homaka maraka ahmarakata. Oshotor ma ahmakarakata amakarakora mahshima amara homa amatakera koto amakahama ahmarakito o emahere ho mekite ama kito kuro koto maha shota ma ahmahama kiteka amaha. Ashotor ma shama amakarator ma amakaratotor ma amakatekoro ma kaima kitora kata amakatora ma amakata ama haya ma amakete hama Ashota amaka marahaya maka ashototora ma ashototora katora ma amakitekoro kotora ma kitekara kamakata. Ashota ma ashototo no ma amakere koto ma amashotora maha. Akora ma amakare koto homa amekare kototora ma katekoro ma kare kototora ma amakare tutokoro kotoma. Oh, shota ma amakato amakatara kototora ma amekete kike ma ashota ma amakatora ma amakarta amakam. Atotora ma ashototora amakita kora ma amashototara amakate kera koto. Akora ma katora kate kora ma amakatakara kara ma katakara omakatera ko omaka. Akora ma amakatora ma ashota ma ashototara ma katora ma amakatera koto maka. Ashototora ma amakara, akora ma hamakre kitora ma shete karakoto ma hamata, akotona ma ashoto ma itotora ma ashototora ma ashototora ma ashoto karakamakotora kototora. Ashototora ashototora ma ashototora ma asho ma hamatotora akora ma katata ma kata amarakita kora karakatoma ma katora ma katara kotora. Ashototora ma ashototora katatara ma ashototora katata ma katotora ma katara katara. Karakatera, shasha, pintera, shasha. No damage in that, Thank you. Namaste. So that was a short and sharp light language. Again, just reminding you to remember your own divinity, look after your sacred DNA, and know that you are connected to source energy. You are a co-creator. You are a divine extension of God, and you can always tap into Christ consciousness. Always ask yourself, what would Jesus do in this moment? What would love do in this moment? There's nothing to fear. Just step into that power, step into your divinity, and look after yourself. Namaste.